What's up guys, it's TheClawesome here and welcome to part 2 of the series where I'm teaching you all about making maps, PvP map, PvE maps, with all the redstone and all the complicated stuff like that, which you can see down there. It probably won't be too high quality unless you're watching in 720. But today I'm going to be teaching you about the spawn. I'm going to teach you about getting people organized so that they can be put in their correct teams, and so that they can get moved. Well, not they'll be getting organized so that they are in correct areas, not necessarily in the correct teams. That'll all be done in the next episode, when I teach you all about that kind of stuff. Families just arrived home. I hope they're quiet and don't ruin this video. So what you're going to want in your spawn is you want a decent distance from it. This is probably too far. I would put the map prop maybe down here, or I might put it there depending on how big it is. It doesn't matter too much as long as you can see at least the edge of it, because you might need the chunks to be loaded depending on how far away you do it and how you do it and stuff like that. And yeah, so you could put it right on top, but then you have to deal with, I'm not sure if you can see this, with the shadows and stuff like that. So you know, it's up to you, but it'll be easier if you have it in the air or something like this, so that's easier to get access to. So what I've done, what you want in your spawn is a bunch of entrances for people to go in. So this would be team of 4 here. There'd be a team of 4 here, a team of 4 here, and we're going to build a team of 4 here. Now, what's going to happen, and you also, what's going to happen, I get distracted, like, oh, I need to say this, I need to say that. What's going to happen is when they walk in here, I'm not actually walk in there, they step on that pressure plate, that's going to go up. So they're going to be stuck in there, and they're not going to be able to get out. Unless they use /kill to kill themselves and respawn. But, you know, whatever. So what you also want is, you might want an area for rules, so you might put on the wall. You might not even have a team here, you might have, well, a wall of rules there. But as long as the people in your game understand how to play the game, that's all good. You probably ignore that even. So you also want an area in the middle to place a button to be able to start the game if you're the owner. You just may have to be careful that you're going to have to be operator, because if this is if you have it a multiplayer game and this is the world spawn, then other people aren't going to be able to press it unless they're opt as well, because of spawn protection. Sorry. So what I'm going to teach you to do is how to do this. I'm going to teach you what this is. So this mechanism here is quite simply, the pressure plate is on this block here. They'll come in, stand on that, and that pressure plate powers below a block, so it powers that redstone. That redstone then powers that, which pushes it up. So as long as they're stepping on the pressure plate, that's pushed up so they can't escape, and this is pushed down. Now this stuff I'll teach you in a moment. I'll have to teach you this middle button part, but I'm just going to show you about building the area. So I think we should do lime green, right? So we're just going to build a little bit of an area for them to walk into, so that they can, what's the word I'm looking for? So they can stand there and get ready for the game to begin. Now, it's not a terrible idea. You could have the piston come up on this block. It doesn't really matter, but I decided to do it one in because that's how I did it when I was originally building it. So I'm just going to middle click on this glowstone to get that and put that in my inventory. In case you didn't know that. So for some people it used to be R, and I bound it to middle click, and now all of a sudden everyone uses a middle click. I feel like that's not a coincidence. I think Not probably noticed, or Jeb probably noticed that lots of people using middle click, so they stuck with that because it's a good idea. Why not? A lot of people don't have a middle click, but if you're using a touchpad, that's a mistake. You should get a mouse as soon as possible, because it's so much better to have a mouse. Okay, so we built these spawn rooms here. It doesn't take long to build this mechanism. All you're going to need is a sticky piston, a piece of redstone, obviously the color wool of your choice, and I used lapis for all of these bottom blocks. I'll explain to you what why we're doing it this way in a moment, but until then, I'll just do this. Now go along here. Well, may as well build 4 at a time, because I built all the others, and there's nothing wrong with building something more than once. So the reason we want to keep them inside their cell to begin with is so that there's no changing teams or anything. It's easier to use command on someone who isn't walking around. And you could definitely do this with single player as well. You might just have a bigger gap between them. You might have different colors. Doesn't matter too much. It doesn't matter how you spread them, as long as you use them. You can use a mechanism like this to make sure that they are standing still and separated from everyone else. So, okay, I apologize about that. What I'm going to teach you to do now, before I explain this system, because you know, we need to have the actual system it's working on before we do anything else, is I'm going to teach you real quickly about the summon command. So if we go /summon, we can hit S and then tab will complete it. We can just tab through until we get to summon, which is funnily enough the last one, and we hit enter. It'll give us all the information about using it. So the first one obviously is /summon. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's summon something. Entity name. And now, for those of you who don't know, entity is anything like an item on the ground, or a mob, or something like that, or a player. And then the X coordinates, the Y coordinates, and the Z coordinates. And then the data tag I've never used, and it's not very relevant right now to us. You could use it in the future. I have to look it up a bit more because I haven't actually gotten into data tags or anything like that. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the /summon command to summon an item below here. And now what's going to happen is we're going to have a command block here, which I'm going to teach you about command blocks a little bit next. And it will drop down from here onto a pressure plate and send the redstone pulse out. So let's just go 3 down real quick. Apologize for coughing onto the microphone. Well, not really onto the microphone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go /summon. We're going to go item. Well, you can hit tab right now to see all of the items and stuff like that, but we're going to do item, and because stone is item number 1, it'll just give it to us, summon it where we are right now. Now for the XYZ tag, you can put the coordinates of XYZ. For those of you who don't know, you can just hit F3 and you see on the bottom part on the left, it's got X, the Y, and the Z. That's all the coordinates. If you're going to be using teleports and summons and stuff like that, use the ones in the brackets, except for obviously the Y, because when you're standing on a block, that's oh, okay, I can't stand a block apparently. That's a full number, so you would use -217, 46, and 280. That's just an example. So for this command block, we're going to I'm going to hit Control V, sorry, because I had it on my clipboard earlier. If you're on a Mac, I believe it's Command V. And this key here, this is in the top left hand corner of your keyboard. It's often used for developer consoles and games and stuff like that. If you hit Shift and then that key, it'll come up with that. Now in Minecraft, that means relative to, so relative to yourself, to the player that you're targeting. So right now we're just summoning an item relative to ourselves. So we're gonna, so this would summon it. Oop, I just tapped the microphone. This would summon it on us, like that. Now if we summon it 2 blocks above us, because this is the Y coordinate, Y is the vertical axis, 2 blocks above us, it would come up and then obviously fall down to it. But what we want to do is we're going to go -1, so that some appears 1 block below us. Now, because you pick a block up from a little bit further away, 2 won't pick it up, but 1 will, because it's close enough for us to pick it up. The reason we use this command is, we use the -1, is so that, oh, I haven't even taught you how to do the command blocks yet. Okay, so, so we're going to use that command in a moment when we put the command block there. For those of you who don't know, to give yourself an item, you go /give. You can use @p or your name. So if I just hit tab, because I'm the only one in the game right now, it says automatically completes TheClawesome. Then we can go 137. That's the command block. That'll give us that. Or in the future, we're going to have to go Minecraft :command_block. That'll also give it to us. So we want to put that up there, and then just hit up, open the chat, and then hit up a couple times until you get back to this command. And then paste it in there. So Control A, Control C, Control V is best thing ever. So when we press the button, an item will spawn and fall onto there. I'm going to fly up here real quick and show you that. Whoop. And there we go. So as you see, nothing came up in the chat. I'm going to teach you about why nothing came up in the chat again, because clearly I haven't re-enabled that. I'm not too sure. So that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to get that pressure plate to activate and send out a pulse to tell everyone what's going on. Now, I've already done these other ones over here. We just got to do the redstone beneath these ones. So what I'm going to do real quick is hook up this one. So we'll go across from there and across from here. And what we want to do is we want to have a bit of delay so that when the operator presses that button, they have enough time to get into their cell and for it to close and the red piston to go down and stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's probably a good amount. Okay, so another key thing to do is make sure you haven't got too much delay. You don't want them sitting around being bored for half an hour, but you also don't want it too short where the guy can't get prepared, or the girl obviously, but I just say guy as a general term. And you also want to make sure that after this ends there isn't more than 15 blocks to get to the next repeater. So right now this redstone splits off and goes off down here, and it also splits off and goes down here. For this over here, we're going to get it to come... Is this facing the right way? Yeah, this is facing the right way. So we're going to bring this out here. Now I've done them all directly below this piston here, so I'll just mark that so I know what I'm doing. There we go, blocks out. I almost called these pistons for some reason. And yeah, so we're going to come out a couple blocks here. I'm just going to do a bunch of blocks here. We'll replace the appropriate ones with command blocks in a moment. So the reason that we... Oh, I don't know what I'm putting on there. My brain, come on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm a bit crazy for formality, so I always put these on that block. I mean, not formality. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? For consistency, there we go. So I put them all on that block specifically because I'm crazy like that. Now, it annoys me when people call it OCD because it's not OCD. I'll destroy these. We don't actually need these. So for those of you who don't know, if you get, for example, a redstone power going through a piston like that, when you place a block, when obviously the... Okay. Shut up, Clayton. Think about what you're going to say. When the power is coming through into a repeater obviously can't go through air. But when there's a block here, it will go through. So basically, when a player stands inside one of these, for example, when I chuck an item on here, oh, okay, I missed. When I chuck an item on here, that's going to go up and that's going to go down, so that it can check to see that there is actually a person in there, and that's how we know there's a player in there. It just basically stops, like, for example, if there's someone in that one and that one, but not that one and that one. That one doesn't go down, it doesn't try and teleport no one and confuse all the redstone and stuff like that. It's a pretty simple way to do it, pretty easy, and it's not too complicated. So I'm going to put that back there. I'm going to make sure I'm doing it right. Now if you middle click, it's easier to just have a command block nearby to middle click instead of having to type /give blah blah blah, and it just makes your life that much easier. So I'm going to add command blocks to every single one of these here. These are going to be the command blocks which tell us, which teleport the player to the spawn room and which set their spawn point as well. So if I just place these along here. Okay, so now when we've got this, I might go through here and break all of these as well, just to keep it all the same. It's a bit easier to distinguish one part from another. Okay. Now what I built here is a room where they will spawn in. There'll also be I'm not going to go into what we're doing with this room right now, but we're just going to get the information about how to get into this room, because this is where they're going to be spawning, where they're respawning and stuff like that. There might be one or two of these depending on how it works out. We'll see. You don't have to do it out of the same color. It doesn't really matter because this lines up. You don't have to make them line up, but it'll make your life a bit easier when it comes to teleporting. But then again, not necessarily with spawn points. So there's the command, which I'm going to teach you all about, called /TP. Obviously, a lot of people know this, been in Minecraft for as long as I can remember. /TP, and then normally you put your name, and then you can put another name there. So Potato or G, the YouTuber I watch, that would teleport to me. Obviously, he's not on this in my world, because that would be weird if he was in my single player world. So that's what you do. But you can also use selectors like @P. You might have seen in the command block earlier, there were selectors. @P means the closest player, @R means a random player, and @A means all the players at once. So if I could do TP @A, TheClawesome, that would teleport every single player in the game to me straight away. So what we're going to be using this command for is something, instead of putting a name here, we're obviously doing @P because we haven't got a specific player playing on this game. We'll go @P and then we'll use the relative commands again. Now, this is useful for having a spawn room just a couple blocks away. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll do 10 so it doesn't, any redstone that goes for this area here doesn't get in the way, and yeah, I don't know, that's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Now this one here is going to be the command block which sets their spawn point to in here, and this one here is going to be the teleport one. I'm going to do the teleport one because that's one of the simpler ones, and it's more well known, so it's easier and quicker to do. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what direction this axis is here. So this is the x-axis. You can see the x-axis going up and down. So we want to, when we fly this way, it goes up. So we want to take 10. Alright, so if we go down here, put that in here, and go take 10. Now x, y, z here on the left of the screen in the coordinates in the background, that lines up with this. So you go from left to right, top to bottom, just as you would in most English situations. Now I am going to just Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to fly in here, and just to test it I'm going to put it in there and hit enter. Okay, so that didn't quite line up. Now as you can see, I spawned in this block, which means if we change this command to take 9, like this, put the take 9 in there, perfect. So instead of putting 10, we put 9, and that solved the problem. So it's always good to test your commands as you do them, if that's possible. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but you're better off testing it than having something wrong and then not testing it and having to go through your entire map and figure out what is wrong. So the reason I've still got the coordinates up is there's a command called /spawn. /spawn point. Now this sets your spawn point. Now it's very easy to just go /spawn point like that and set your spawn, but we want to set it for a specific player. We want to set it to specific coordinates for a specific player. So if we go /help spawn point, it'll come up with you can use just the base command. It'll set your spawn point to your local position, or we can go /spawn point a player or a selector. So for example, we'll go at P and then the XYZ. And now I don't think you can use these, so what we're going to do is I'm going to Control A, Control it like that. So we want -236, 51, and 276. So -236. I'm going to forget this. -236, 51, and I've forgotten already. 276. So 276. So now that's our coordinates, I believe. Does that look right? Does that look right? That lines up? Yep. Okay, problem solved. I just got a message on Facebook from my girlfriend. She has just cooked some really nice looking cookies. So we'll go /spawn point at P. So we'll Control A, Control C that. Control C and then Control V. Paste it in there. Now if I go /spawn point right here and I go /kill. Oop, drop some glowstone on the ground. We died and respawned there. Now, the reason we put this... okay, now we're just going to test it, alright? We're not going to go too crazy. I'm going to explain why we did it in that order in a moment. So we press the button, run in here, stand on here, and just wait a second. Now, when we get teleported... I can turn these off now. Alright, so we get teleported in here, and our spawn point should be set in here. So I go /kill. Respawn, we respawn in here. Perfect. So that's what we would want to do for every single one of these, where its own individual coordinates, etc., etc. So that each player spawns in their own area, and they don't. So, for example, this player 1 won't spawn in player 3's area. Player 1 won't spawn in player 4. Player 4 won't spawn in player 2, etc., etc. And it's just easy to keep track of, especially if you keep them lined up like this. It makes your life a whole lot easier, and just so much better. This is also good if you want to give like player 1 specific items, player 2 specific items, because then you can just deal with it that way. So the reason we put the command blocks in this order, why did we do the spawn point first and then the teleport? Surely it doesn't make that much of a difference. Well, with the command at P, I'm going to just pick up this piece of stone right here. With the command at P, it chooses the closest player to the command block itself. So, if we had player 1 and then we had player 2, and player 1 got teleported first, and player 2 was still there. So player 1 gets teleported over here. This might be a bit further away, or it might be a bit closer, or whatever. The player 2 might end up being closer to this command block than player 1 is, even though this player 1's command blocked. So I just realized I said command blocked. That's not what I meant to say. So we want to do the spawn point first, because then every player is still in line, and it will only run redstone for player 1, so it doesn't matter. Player 2 redstone won't run if there's no player 2, so it doesn't matter that there's no player 2. So player 1 will set the spawn point because it's the closest player, and then teleport them in their secondary. And that way there's no mix up with the redstone, who gets teleported, why they get teleported, etc, etc. So that's pretty much all I've got to say during this part. We've learned about the summon command, the spawn point command, and the TP command, and we learned a little bit about command blocks and selectors, which is the @P, the AA, and the AR. Please leave. I'm gonna do all of these off camera and have them all teleporting. The next part, I believe, is going to be all about the teams and the scoreboard and setting that up. So see you guys in the next video, which will be coming out probably either 24 or 48 hours after this, so 1 or 2 days after this one, and I look forward to seeing you then. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think. Please leave a like if you like this video or if it was helpful, and subscribing would be amazingly helpful. Sharing this video would be even better, and goodbye.